I am always at odds with my mother. No matter what I do, it never seems to be good enough. She did not replace my stolen instruments, which were never recovered. I loved playing the viola, and then the flute was my next favorite. I went into a depression since I could no longer play them. I lost interest in the piano. I dropped out of the handbell choir at church. I dropped out of the church choir. There was no reason to continue since I was only in those to please Joyce. 2 weeks before my 14th birthday, I met Garrick in October of 1980, and he was a senior, which was really cool since I was a freshman. We hit it off right away and became friends. That Christmas, he had to go to Arkansas with his family, so he mailed me a Christmas card addressed to Mrs. Garrick Burton. And everything was all right until my mother met him. She had me invite him over for dinner. He is tall, 6'4". She thinks he has a great smile and a nice personality, but there are a few things she is a little concerned about. One,
He is 17, soon to be 18 in about 7 months.
two,
He is black.
and three.
He is of the male species.
My mom is prejudiced against black men. I asked her again, what do you have against black men? And she said,
They cannot be trusted. I was married to one, and he went to raise his hand to hit me. So I got an annulment.
this caught my attention because the last time her story was,
They cannot be trusted. I was engaged to one, and he went to raise his hand to hit me, and I refused to marry him.
which goes more along the line with what she told Mr. Hall, that she had never been married. So once again, she is lying to me. I know that it is the fact that she does not like Garrick that I continue to see him. I look up to him. I respect him, which really pisses her off. After he graduated in the spring of 1981 and turned 18 that summer, my mom threatened him with jail, and I wasn't allowed to see him anymore. In the winter of 1982, at 16, I met Albert, and we started seeing each other. I graduated early in the spring of 1983 by taking the California High School Proficiency Exam. My mom wanted me to go and apply for Maranatha College, which was an all-girls school. She even tried to bribe me with a brand new car of my choice and a house upon graduation. I refused. I hate school. It bores me so much. And the only reason I was offered to take the CHPE was because I had refused to go to school anymore and had been sent to Rosebud High, the school for the bad kids. But once again, my mom had connections. She could not let it remain that I was labeled a bad girl. When my score for the California high school proficiency came and she saw that I scored within the top 2%, she again offered to send me to college, saying that I was wasting my life if I didn't go to college. But why do I want to go to college? This woman has 2 degrees and is still not happy. She is literally enrolled to get a doctorate, another one, which will make 3 degrees. It makes no sense to me. She's overqualified, is what everybody tells her. So why do I want to keep going to school? I will not let her control me like she did Kathy. And she is not going to win by buying me. Maybe if she let Kathy make her own decisions, she would still be alive. I went and got a job at Bank of America instead. So she kicked me out the house. Albert was my rescuer and moved me to his parents' home and helped me save to get my first place. My mom once again did not approve because he is not white. I remember the first time I met his mother. She was sitting on the floor in front of the coffee table. When I asked Al why his mom had a pile of flour on the table, I quickly found out it was powder cocaine. At which I asked what was cocaine. His mother laughed, placed her finger in one of the smaller piles, and asked me to lean forward and smile. As she proceeded to rub the powder over my gums, giving me a freeze, as she called it, I was not happy when I couldn't feel my mouth a short time later. I have moved into my first apartment. I live on Meredith by Pasadena City College, so I'm on the main bus line, and it is perfect for me. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, with patio for $350 a month. I work in the Bank of America Card Center mailroom, and I love it. I work from 5:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. And on Fridays, Al picks me up, and I spend the weekend with him. I found out you can get pregnant on birth control pills. His parents talked me into an abortion because they didn't want me to ruin his football career. He is headed to USC. I've been at Bank of America for a year now. And I am finding out that lightning can strike twice in the same spot. I am pregnant again. I refuse to have another abortion, even after his parents give me the same ultimatum as last time. I walked and cut Albert out of my life. Who wants a man that cannot speak for himself? I love living on my own. I work full-time at Bank of America. I had the perfect pregnancy, no morning sickness. I stop and get nachos from Jack in the Box with extra cheese and jalapenos on my way home from work. My baby has everything already. A basket crib, deluxe stroller, swing, anything and everything a baby could want. The color scheme is yellow, since I don't know if I'm having a girl or a boy. I don't want to know. I just know that I plan to love and give my baby everything I did not have as a child. I have also picked a name that will work for either a boy or a girl. My due date was March 2nd, 1985. Today is February 12th. I am at Kaiser for a stress test. Shortly after the start of the test, the nurse ran into the room, grabbed the oxygen mask, and put it on my face. She explained,
Your baby's heartbeat has dropped.
it kept happening. They said,
We are going to have to help her come early. Her lungs are already developed, and right now she cannot take the stress of contractions.
they induced labor once they determined that she had already dropped into position. 15 minutes later, I have a baby girl, Ryan, Rhyan. She is 4 pounds and 15 ounces and considered a preemie, and she does not want to nurse. We went home 3 days later. I took Ryan for her 1 month appointment today. She weighs 10 pounds. While on maternity leave, I had ended up moving in with my mom until I can afford to save up for another place because my current landlord did not want children in her complex. When Ryan was 6 months old, I ran into Garrick on the bus and he started picking me up from work. One day I got off late and couldn't get to the bank in time to cash my check. So Garrick paid the babysitter for me. But by the time he dropped me off at home, this lady had called my mom and told her.
Cheryl had a man with her that had a large roll of money when he paid, and I am afraid he may be a drug dealer.
Actually, that would have been better because once my mom found out it was Garrick, she literally kicked me out the house again with baby. Garrick took us in by getting us a hotel room. I don't know if he did it because he felt guilty or what. We did that about a month. He was working as a security guard. I was at the bank. His mom started watching Ryan while I was at work. After a month, we moved into a small single that had a free month of rent after you stayed there for 6 months. So we stayed there until we could save up and plan to move when the free month came around. My mom refused to see my daughter unless we got married. So since she claimed she was willing to make peace, we got married that November in 1985 when Ryan was 9 months old. My name now is Cheryl E. Gomez Burton. I live in Altadena, California, on Pine, off of Lake Avenue. We have a 2-bedroom with a huge kitchen and living room. I love being able to walk to Thrifty Ice Cream, which is next door. I have left Bank of America because I wanted to work closer to home. While I was working at Sears Automotive as a secretary, I have found out I am pregnant again. I am shocked. I am still on birth control pills, and G had used a condom, although it broke. I had gone into premature labor at 4 months along. It is now my 6th month, and my son, which I know because my doctor forgot that I didn't want to know, already weighs about 5 pounds and is 13 inches long from what they can see. I have been put on bed rest for the rest of my pregnancy. I have a monitor that I have to strap up to 3 times a day and transmit to my doctor. If there is anything wrong, the paramedics show up at my door to take me to the hospital. One time they showed up when nothing was wrong, only to find out that my daughter had hit the 911 button on it. The cops thought it was funny. I didn't. My son's original due date was August 2nd, 1986. But due to his size and complications, because I kept going into premature labor, it was first moved back for a C-section to July 28th. On the evening of July 26th, when Garrick was out of town delivering a tank for his job, I was not feeling well and went to the hospital, only to find out that I was in labor. Within 15 minutes, Garrett was born. I call him Rhett, R-E-T-T, because Garrett sounds too close to his dad's name. And since he's not a junior, it just makes it easier for them to know who I am calling. But I sing him and Ryan to sleep at night. I sit there and I watch them sleep so peacefully, whispering I love you to them. Garrett has 106 fever. I am holding him while the ambulance races to the hospital. The pain I feel when they give him a spinal tap and the fear of him dying is so intense, like nothing I've ever felt. It feels like I feel everything that is happening to him. Just like the time when Ryan was running around the house and ran into the corner of a heater that required stitches. Ryan spoke her first sentence today and her first question all at the same time. She's 18 months old. She's sitting in her car seat in the back with her brother. We were on the freeway and Garrick and I could not agree on where to go. And she says,
"What difference does it make?"
As my children get older, we sit out in the backyard by the swing set, and I fill up the pool while I barbecue the meat for dinner. So be ready by the time Garrett comes home, and Rhett and Ryan still get to play outside. There are many times I just pack them up with their stuff and push them in the stroller uphill to the park at the top of Lake Avenue. Ryan is into reading, and she goes to spend time with my mom. Garrett is my shadow. He wants to do whatever I am doing. He and Ryan love to be my kitchen helpers. He always wants to season the meat and clean the cobs of corn. He has even helped me plant the garden. I taught them both how to work with clay, where Ryan prefers beads and would make bracelets, while Rhett made this cool basketball man and likes to crochet. His dad hates me for that, says I'm turning him into a sissy. So I stopped. Then I bought them Cabbage Patch dolls. Boy, did he have a rage storm over that one. I take a lot of pride in how my kids look. I took them anywhere. I made sure they looked nice. They even had a professional photo shoot. I saved up to buy him and Ryan the outfits, and they had their portraits done. Ryan, Garrett, and I have a bond I hope will never break. I really tried to make things work. I really did. I tried to be Susie Homemaker, keep the house clean, take care of the kids. Unfortunately, things were not going as well between Garrett and I. I loved my kids as best I could. I didn't know how to love. I have no example of love, but I know I love my kids. My goal is to be a full-time mom no matter what. So I am trying so hard to make it work. I cannot tell you why I am unhappy. I cannot tell you what I am searching for. But I do know that he has become more of a father figure to me instead of a husband. Garrick has a twisted streak in him. He plays mind games and emotional games. He would do little things like rearrange the cabinets in the house while I'm asleep. One time he emptied out a Bacardi rum bottle and peed in it instead because he didn't want me drinking anymore. What made him think I would not smell urine is beyond me. Fighting and arguing have become regular, especially when I attracted a stalker after ordering pizza one night. This attention has him accusing me of all kinds of things I have never even thought of. According to him, there is no way this man is following me for no reason. But the stalking incident has been going on for a while. He has even shown up at my job. There's been several restraining order violations. And Garrick even took a 2x4 to him one night when he was sitting outside the house. This went on for months. And then one day he just disappeared. Drinking has been in my life for a while, and I love the taste of alcohol. I started drinking heavier after Rhett was born. When he was 2, I got pregnant again. And neither Garrick or I wanted another baby at that time for completely different reasons. He claimed it was too expensive, and it was. I didn't want another child that would keep me tied to him. So I agreed to get the abortion. And I hated myself afterwards because I had promised that I would never have another one. I became distant and just focused on my kids. Well, my mother is being her hypocritical self. She found out about the abortion. And once again, I'm going to hell. I need to get back in church. That's what we need. Garrick and I, we need to be saved. I let her take Ryan to church on Sundays just to get her off my back. I'm not talking to her very much because when I was working at Bank of America, my job security had gotten more strict at one point, and I had to be fingerprinted. I found out that not only did my fingerprints come back with no records of me at all, which there should have been if I was in the foster home system and adopted, but also the paper she had gave me when I asked for my birth certificate to get a job was fake. Her explanation was that she didn't know, and she claimed the birth certificate was the one the adoption agency gave her.